Deputy Speaker, well, it's of course great that black spot funding is available across electorates, and we know that work is needed on local roads to save lives. And I was really proud to support a campaign, a grassroots campaign from my community to use federal government funds with the council to build a pedestrian crossing at McCormick's Road at a nursing home where tragically a local resident had been killed crossing that road. But this government likes to compliment itself for doing the bare minimum. It likes to make announcements on things like infrastructure but not deliver them. I stand here as a member for Dunkley, for a community that before the 2019 election was promised $30 million of federal funding to upgrade intersections across Bilardo Road, not far from the McCormick's Road incident that I just spoke about. It's now October 2021 and there have been no upgrades. I've written to the Prime Minister, I've written to the Minister responsible, and whose fault is it? Apparently it's the state government's fault. My community was promised 3 separate commuter car parks by this Morrison government before the 2019 election at Seaford, Cananook, at Frankston. It's October 2021 and how many commuter car parks has this government delivered? None. In fact, it took the money out of this year's budget for Seaford and Cananook because it was a promise made without consultation with the community, without consultation with the local council, without consultation with the state government. And there was nowhere to build those car parks on the existing land. Whose fault is it that those car parks promised solely by the federal government, Cananook and Seaford, and in conjunction with the state government at Frankston, haven't been delivered? According to this government, it was the state government's fault. They've now had to acknowledge they couldn't do Seaford and Cananook, and I've met with the former Deputy Prime Minister. I've met with the current responsible minister. I've written to the former responsible minister about delivering commuter car parks for my community. The Cananook area needs not just car parking, but investment in the mighty Frankston and District Basketball Association in that area, and I'm not going to stop until I see this government deliver. Before the 2019 election, this government campaigned on delivering the extension of the Metro line to Baxter. October 2021. What's happened? Nothing. They sat on a business case for years that the state government did for them, released it at more than 12 months ago now. In fact, I think it was the end of 2019. What have they done since then? Nothing. Whose fault is it? Apparently it's the state government's fault that it hasn't done a further business case, but the federal government hasn't asked them to. There are now pushes to get this train line extended in stages, but the federal government still hasn't asked the state government to do the business case to get this done. Since I've been elected, I've been pushing this government to deliver infrastructure for my local community that we need. I've written to the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, to responsible ministers. I made submissions and advocated and speeches before this year's budget for Emil Masden Reserve in Mount Eliza, which desperately needs an upgrade so it's the sporting precinct that my community in Mount Eliza deserves, for investment in Nirmanj Ambana, the local Indigenous gathering place in Frankston, so that we can have a gathering place for the growing Indigenous community and for the non-Indigenous members of my community to join with them to celebrate culture. For funding for McClellan Sculpture Park and Gallery, which is not just a hub for arts and culture in my community, but is a tourism destination and could be a tourism mecca for the wider southeast Melbourne and Mornington Peninsula region, but needs support. I've mentioned the Frankston and District Basketball Association, the Mornington Peninsula Bay Trail. I will continue to push this government to provide funding. This government talks about black spot funding, which is great for intersections and roundabouts, but where's the investment in the infrastructure for the future? Where's the investment in renewing the national energy grid so that it can take the renewable energy that we must invest in for this country, for the economy, for jobs and to reduce emissions? Where's the investment in infrastructure for electric vehicles? Where's the investment in infrastructure for solar batteries in communities, in suburbs? There is none, because who's running things really in this country at the moment? It's the Deputy Prime Minister, Barnaby Joyce, and his ragtag of nationals, and it's not good enough and it's failing our communities.
The